knew that just one video about the Markle mask was not going to be enough, but oh boy. I stumbled upon this clip with a fresh set of Meghan's creepy expressions, and I knew that I had to take a closer look at it. Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and it would be great if you join us by just liking this video, subscribing, and hitting that bell. Let's get down to it. Just to be clear, when I say Meghan's face can be really disturbing, I'm not talking about her looks, but her facial expressions. Emotional displays that anyone could express, but if they do, they're going to elicit the same response in those around them: creepiness. And this is one of the best examples out there, where Meghan and Harry are meeting a group of performers after an event. Everything looks like going smooth, like there's no big deal, but then something odd starts to happen to her face. Or on her face. I don't know how to say it properly. What I do know is the reason why watching these displays can make you uncomfortable, and it's because the really close connection we have when talking through our facial expressions. That is the reason why we developed such a complex system of communicating not only with our facial expressions, but also with our eyes. And that's one of the reasons we are the only primates that have a high contrast sclera, or the white around our pupils, so we could have it easier communicating intentions. Since there's so much weight in whatever we express with our faces, then when someone begins to express so much noise with their facial expressions, we tend to become anxious in seconds. Because the first reaction that you have is that there's a message that you're not getting. Something that the person wants to tell you, even if they are not looking straight directly at you, and you should be picking up, but you just don't understand it. We can literally speak with our eyes. But in Meghan's case, there is another factor in this. Somehow, she does it only when she's not being seen by anyone or the person she's talking to is looking in another direction. Also, she doesn't do it all the time, and that's something that could be easily related to severe stress. I've already mentioned that Meghan is a really controlling control woman. Sorry for the confusion, Harry. Meghan is a very controlled woman, especially in social environments when she has these wacky facial displays. An example I used for this video, this was happening immediately after the event. So maybe she just did not like or appreciate the performance of this artist. Who knows? Because when she was arriving at the venue, there were no traces of those creepy faces. Or maybe she did not have to talk to anyone at that moment. It would be great if you do comment what do you think is the trigger for this kind of facial emotions in her. But to really understand the effect this can have on the perception of anyone, I'm going to refresh your memory with that Winona Ryder clip where she's accepting an award. Nobody managed to decipher what was going on with her face because there was no way to anchor her facial expressions to anything remotely happening on screen. She looked like she had just visited Mr. White, because this is the mechanism that we use to express a flow of consciousness that is composed of both an emotional state and a mental state. And I mention them in that order because that's the way we function. First, there are emotions that drive us to act or behave in a certain way, and then there is the mental state, which is the rationalization phase of the process, the actual thinking and making decisions to act. But what does this have to do with Meghan opening her eyes like she's trying to figure out how humans interact? Because, just so you know, our faces most of the time work as a system. It's really uncommon that you're going to see just the inner eyebrows moving or just one lip corner moving. For example, you might have learned from series like Lie to Me that a contempt smile is just a half smile in which only one of the lip corners is pulled. But if you go to the mirror, relax your face, and do exactly that, just pull one of your lip corners upwards without moving any other muscle of your face, you're going to look like one of those street mimes or an android or anything else but a normal human being. Because a real contempt smile will have much more richness in expression. Maybe there will be a quick nod or the head to the one side, or the eyes could blink and look away, and a quick release of air through the nose. That's why facial expressions are systemic. They are based on a system of muscles working to express a stream of consciousness so others can pick it up. So when you look at Winona, it looks strange but mostly silly because at least her facial expressions are working as a system, as they should be. Maybe we can connect that to a concrete reaction or message, and that's why it looks so odd to us. But in the case of Meghan, her facial expressions are disjointed. That's why she could be smiling with her mouth, but her eyes be absolutely emotionless. And when someone's eyes are hard to read, this makes it difficult for you to read their intentions. And where you're not clear about the intentions of someone, you're going to worry, at least subconsciously. Now, this is why Meghan Markle is such a fascinating specimen to study. Because there are literally dozens of videos where her facial expressions just don't match the current emotion that she wants to convey with her words, or don't match a regular flow of consciousness, or don't match a regular human being. And that just sets off everyone's alarms, especially if you're very sensitive to reading and connecting with other people's emotions. It's absolutely normal if you find her facial expressions unsettling because it's very hard to make sense of them. And by breaking that cardinal rule of communication between humans, then most people will end up having trust issues with her. Well, that's until she opened her mouth and our trust issues were confirmed and certified. Again, there are some medical conditions that could cause displays similar to this, such as Tourette syndrome. But it's very hard to explain why it's such a coincidence that Meghan displays them when she's not the center of attention. And no, there is no better term to explain that than good old narcissism. But these clips can help you train your observation abilities just by spotting which are the moments or circumstances that trigger this kind of displays. Because that's when you learn to recognize behavior patterns in anyone. You notice that there is seemingly random pattern and you try to track down what is the trigger that causes it. Maybe you will not have the meaning of the behavior yet, but at least you will be able to predict that. And this is very useful with people that are violent or are prone to rage outbursts. You can learn to pinpoint which situations trigger these emotional displays. If you're interested in reading emotions on the face and understand exactly what do all possible combinations mean, I strongly suggest that you get my complete guide on how to read face emotions. You can find the link in the description. It is a step-by-step self-study digital guide so you can boost your facial reading skills. And these body language skills will work not only on Meghan, of course. Now that you're aware of the importance of facial emotions in our communication, I'm sure you'll start paying more attention to how people's faces react to events. Because it's in those reactions and their interpretations that you'll be able to spot people's intentions. And maybe recognize when you are giving too much information with your face. So if you want to acquire, polish, and master this skill, you can get my complete guide on how to read face emotions right in the description of this video. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas and it will always be a pleasure, my body language buddies. Much love and bliss.